activity, but it's still farming activity that's a critical part of our economic activity here in Southbury. So hope to do more work internally with our whatever data we have to get a better sense of our inventory, and then look for how other towns have approached agricultural commissions, what can we steal from them, and can we get something like that going here for Southbury. And the next slide, well, we've got a lot of salt now. You know, we did our transfer, and we started ordering because we wanted the salt. And as you know, for quite a while, there just was no salt whatsoever here in Southbury, in the state of Connecticut, for that matter, in the Northeast. So, you know, we projected what we might need if winter weather events continued. And what we found is our prediction as far as number of events was pretty much spot on, but we didn't use salt. We ended up using more sand that we mixed with some salt to stretch it out a bit. And so, as a result, just in the, as you see there, March 11th through the 13th, we took in about 750 tons. But since then, the weather's been much more cooperative. So at this point, we're sitting on about 1,000 tons of salt. That was kind of the inventory level we sort of said we'd like to start out next year. We didn't expect to end it this year, but we said, you know, come early part of next year, we would order salt. So we started out basically, as I say, well, the winter's not over. I mean, I know it's first day of spring, but who knows, it ain't over till it's over, as they say. But I wanted to give you that update. We just ended up going from, you know, whatever, bust to boom. You know, where we didn't have enough salt, and now we have more salt. So if you know of anybody who needs some, we should talk. We've made some good progress on the cell tower. As I think I mentioned, we did get our a draft lease. We organized a meeting with the chairs of our land use commissions, planning and zoning, and also with the finance chair to review some aspects of the lease, find out what their concerns were. They felt it was a good idea before we go forward to get some other expertise. It ends up that a former lawyer who used to work on behalf of the town now works at Robinson and Cole, and that's his focus, is cell tower locations, not for AT&T though. And since we already have a relationship with Robinson and Cole, he was willing to spend about 45 minutes with us on the phone, talking about what our common practices, what's standard in the business, what to look for, what to be concerned about, and we could test out a lot of our concerns and questions with him. Based on that, we've put together a list of kind of initial questions and conditions that we would like to discuss with AT&T. That first meeting of just sort of exchanging ideas is set for tomorrow afternoon. And later on, I'll be asking you for, it's a little vague in the charter about, clearly I need your approval to sign a contract. But whether I need your approval to enter into a negotiation is not as clear, but I'll be asking you for that, just to make sure you're okay with us starting this negotiation. You also received, I believe a week ago, a resolution regarding joining the new Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. There's been a lot of revision with our intro. Later on, we'll talk about the process for moving that forward. Been very busy trying to work with the other members of this, what will be this new Council of Governments. And I think we're 95% of the way. There's a lot of resistance about minor, well, I guess from the other party's point of view, they weren't minor. But we couldn't get agreement on some wording about how we proceed, but I think we now have ironed that out with some very good work with some of the legal advisors that we've had. Again, if you have any questions on any of this, let me know. The Energy Task Force, I meant to give you an update on this, I think a week ago, or the last meeting, but I had some technical problems. So a while back, I would say this goes back maybe 6 months ago, we entered into a pilot program with Northeast Utilities. Kind of got off to a slow start, but because we had signed the Municipal Clean Energy Pledge, we could apply for this. And the carrot here was we would get for free an energy consultant who would work with the task force and our building maintenance team to do energy audits of buildings as well as help us with our data analysis. And as you know, you probably have heard, we work very hard to gather all of our electric and fuel oil, natural gas by buildings so we can analyze trends and are we getting good return, are we seeing progress in becoming more energy efficient. So that has been moving forward more clearly in the last couple of weeks. And the Energy Task Force deserves a lot of credit for being out there and working with them as well as our own Phil Ulrich, who's been working alongside them. The last this week, they've done very intensive audits of library, police, senior center, and garage. And although I haven't seen the report, for the first time, we've had people in the library who say, I think we see what the problem is and why the energy utilization is so high. Up till now, everybody said not much a group can do. And as you'll see in another chart, we're on to Town Hall being rated as an Energy Star building because of the improvements, efficiencies we've brought to this building. So just a couple of quick charts. The next slide. The first one basically shows by building where our energy costs are going. And this is combined electricity as well as our fuel oil and natural gas. And really because of our natural gas, we're seeing a reduction compared to the baseline, which was, I believe, 2008. But again, you can see here the library from a cost point of view still on the order of 40 to 42% of all of our energy needs, which was the concern. You can also see there's a slight increase that we're starting to see in the police department that we want to look at. The next chart looks at that just from the standpoint of energy consumption, regardless of price, which is really a better way to gauge, are you really making improvements in your energy efficiency? Here again, you can see the library actually as a proportion has grown as other parts have become more efficient.
And do we know why that is?
Well, that's what I was alluding to. Until I see the report, I won't know that the scuttlebutt is construction. Good design for construction. Basically, what happened is when he started to remove the tiles, the ceiling tiles, the amount of draft up there, he said, this is not right. This should be going through your ductwork, not going through. And as a result, I think what he's going to be saying is you're losing a tremendous amount of heat, and you're running your equipment much more continuously than is necessary. So,
Well, that's pretty dramatic.
well, you know, again, we sort of first saw this like a year and a half ago, and we thought it was a data problem. We said, this can't be. There must be something wrong with the metering, because it just was so different. But anyway, that's what we're seeing, and I hope to see in this report, again, until I see it, you know, I don't want to say we go to, we've got a solution, but at least it's the first time I'm kind of hearing that. The final chart, and I'd be glad to share these with you, this kind of shows the improvements by building. Maureen, one more, and then I'm done. So the first line there is the South Prairie Town Hall. And if you look over on the right corner, you see that from the baseline year, we've improved our energy usage by 35%. These numbers are, the way they do it's a little, the sign on it's a little confusing. So 35% means we got a reduction of 35%. The library, in terms of energy usage, has gone up by 6%. I know the sign might be confusing. And you see here, as I mentioned before, we're seeing the police station also going up by 8% from the baseline. The firehouse, on the other hand, as you move on down, we're seeing there some very good improvements there of about 30%. And ironically, now that I think about it, I think it was a year and a half ago, we had actually a local vendor came in and performed this ductwork technique to basically seal your ducts. It's you go in from the front end and sprays this material, and it sort of finds all of the holes and gaps and fills those in. So that might be what happened there. So that's what I wanted to tell you, what we've been up to, and so I think some various groups are making some good progress. The next two charts are just some more detail about the ice, and not the ice, it's salt. This is our projection. We thought we'd end up with about 500 at the end of the year if we had all those snow events. The next chart basically shows the events that they happen, but you can see the salt utilization, or true salt utilization. You know, instead of 130 tons was 30 tons, or 25 tons. And then you can see in the last, whatever, 5 lines there, the amount of salt that came in between that March 11th and 13th.
And one question on the salt, the 1,000 tons, will that salt degrade to any degree between now and next fall because of exposure to the weather?
Right. So I've been told, no, it doesn't go bad with time. It is covered, and it's a covered shed. So I would assume it would be different if it was outside. So that's important that it is covered. All right, so with that, I think that brings us to our minutes. This gets to be a more complicated part of the meeting than we've been used to. So I'm wondering if almost we go backwards, or we go
We're going
forward.
to start from the oldest ones.
Okay.
The January 16th meeting minutes. On February 20th, Ms. O'Neill moved to table the approval of the January 16th minutes, pending her ability to review and compare them to the audio. So she was to have sent us some information, which we didn't get. So then on the meeting of March 6th, she again moved to table the January 16th minutes pending a detailed list of changes to be made.
I actually did not put up to be tabled. What I said on that meeting was that I had the edits done. I provided all of them. Those were on a separate drive, and I would send them after the March 6th meeting.
No, they were, you sent them after the March 6th meeting.
Right, because
Okay,
that was
so
the
it
one
was
file I
tabled-
forgot to
It
send
was
you.
tabled on the March 6th meeting.
Right.
So we did not get that information prior to the March 6th meeting.
Right.
So we tabled the minutes, we did not approve the minutes.
I
Correct?
agree. I didn't move to table them, but they were tabled.
But they were tabled. Someone moved to table them, but you did table them.
Real quick, Noreen, could you just bring up the agenda? That way we'll kind of, maybe, is there too many minutes?
So we're talking about January 16th, so it was tabled on February 20th. It was tabled again on March 6th, and we received the edits from Ms. O'Neill an hour ago.
Yeah, I actually thought that I had sent them on March 6th, but I checked my notes. I may not have sent them. I've had pneumonia for the last 10 days, to the point where I almost need to be hospitalized. I apologize. I
Well,
sent them
that's
again
fine. So I guess
today.
we're gonna have to table them.
I sent them again today to make sure that you had them before the meeting. So I thought that I sent them before. If
We
I
got them
didn't,
at
it was no
8:30,
reason.
so the meeting was already in progress. So I think once again, we're gonna have to table the January 16th minutes unless we want to approve them as written. So.
You want to make a motion to that
Is there a
effect?
motion?
Or?
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes of January 16th as they are. This is March 19th, I believe, March 20th, so we're talking,
The minutes are inaccurate in a number of key respects. I've circulated the edits.
an hour.
I circulated the edits, I thought, on March 6th.
Okay,
I'm
but-
sorry, I can't talk much, Donna, so I won't be able to shout over you, and I apologize. I thought that I sent them to you after March 6th.
The accurate information, we're going to table this again, and somebody can make a motion to table. Or I'm making a motion to approve the minutes as they exist.
And I'll second that.
You want to add your
The
comments?
discussion is that I would not vote in favor of that motion because the motion, the minutes are flawed. The edits have been circulated. I thought they were circulated previously. They've at least been circulated prior to the meeting, not during the meeting as you were stating. So I would not approve the minutes.
Anybody else like to speak for or against the motion?
Do you want to amend them as you sent around?
Well, the motion is Donna's motion at this point.
It doesn't, no, I mean, but the way we.
So I would
somebody moves,
I would like to
everybody
move to
comments on
amend
them.
her motion to.
Well, you just have to say, these are the things I'd like to change.
Right,
and then
they've been
vote as a
circulated.
board to approve them as amended.
Right. And they have been circulated to the board. It's too much for me to read out loud, I'm sorry.
I wasn't asking. So you're,
Well, I can say that as I was getting ready to come for this meeting, I saw that the email arrived, and I have not had a chance to look
7:35
in.
actually is when it came.
No, I'm sorry, Donna, you're incorrect. I resent them to you when you asked me to at 7:35. You did get them on there.
I'm getting
We
a
never
little,
got them from the first time, so if they were resent, there's no evidence, but we did get them at 7:35, which is a little late for us to review any edits that were made to the meeting.
I'd like to move this along if we could. Donna made a motion to approve the minutes. I think we should vote on that. And if they're not approved, then we could submit another motion to correct the minutes.
Correct.
So,
You're
does
calling the vote.
anybody else want to
I'm
speak?
going to vote.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
The motion is defeated 4-2. Is there any other motion with regard to the January 16th?
Motion to approve the minutes with the amendments that were circulated in my email for the January 16th meeting.
I will second that.
Moved and seconded. I'd like to speak against that, saying that I haven't been able to see those edits. We don't have them up on the screen to look at. And apparently, I don't know if there's somebody here who's going to lead us through that, but I can't approve something that I haven't seen. I don't think that's
Nor
fair.
I.
so do you want to table it so you can consider it and vote down?
Yes, I
I mean,
don't know any
that-
other option.
That's fine with me.
Me too.
It's a lot of discussion on the minutes, so.
So let's,
All right, so would you like to make that motion?
Sure.
All right. Ken, second.
I'll second it.
All right, so, motion to table, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
All those opposed? Abstaining? Okay, so that takes care of number one. February
Okay,
6th.
so February 6th, Selectman O'Neill had sent out, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of February 6th just for discussion.
Second.
The edit, I circulated weeks ago, edits to the minutes that were reflected in my email. So I would move to amend that motion to approve the minutes with the edits that are set forth in my email to the February 6th minutes.
And in spite of the fact that there were supposedly numerous inaccuracies and omissions, I really don't have any issue. I think it was just a matter of what Selectman O'Neill did was reword some of the information. I have no problem with those minutes, and I will vote to approve.
We need to call a vote.
Well, I think we're just speaking, we've got a first
Anybody
or
else?
second, and anybody else like to speak? And I would second Donna's comments that most of them seem more grammatical. With that, I would just like to remind those who weren't able to attend the FOI with Tom Hennick. I think we've got to be careful that we're getting on a slippery slope here. Minutes being, what's the word I'm looking for? Transcripts. We really don't have the resources to do transcription. The minutes are supposed to reflect, the sense of what happened. We have, over the years, looked to the administrative staff to try and do their best to capture that. What we're minimally required to do is just put down what the actions were, the votes, and what the vote count was. We try to add something to that, but I'm very concerned if we start to use a phenomenal amount of resources trying to make our minutes transcriptions. We did go forward a couple of years ago, maybe now it's only a year ago, with audio, so if people want to hear specifically what happened, they can. I know we look through this process where when the minutes are done, as first selectman, I review them before they go to you to make sure that I think they captured what I heard at that meeting, and obviously you all have that opportunity. But I think if we start getting into wordsmithing, we're going to consume too much resources with not a lot of benefit. So that was just an editorial comment.
I agree with you, First Selectman Edelson. Wordsmithing should not be our goal. I did attempt to contain the edits to those that I thought were substantive, and I think that the minutes that have been prepared since those meetings have been very well done and not in need of substantive change.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the February 6th minutes as amended. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Carries unanimously. That brings us,
I'd then like to move to approve the February 20th minutes with the